Every conversation about the development of the AK I heard over the years went exactly the same. First, people talk about facts, events, documents, and prototypes, and then some very gifted individuals come into the discussion. And it goes on the same every time. ŠMAJSER developed the AK, Kalashnikov stole everything from Germany.
Before starting to compare Kalashnikov versus Sturmgewehr, it's important to know that Hugo ŠMAJSER, Werner Gruner, and about 470 experienced German gunsmiths were invited to USSR in 1945. They were volunteered by Russian political police NKVD, later KGB, to help Kalashnikov to create his masterpiece. Nein, ŠMAJSER developed it in Izhevsk. Kalashnikov was supposedly developing in Kovrov. The dumb farmer couldn't make a dumb plow work properly. The bullshit story about the wounded former soldier who developed a gun for the motherland while recovering from his wound in hospital is just as laughable as all other Soviet-era propaganda. Kalashnikov lived a lie his entire life. He did slip up a few times during his last years through. From having denied ever seeing a Sturmgewehr, he finally admitted to actually working outside of ŠMAJSER.
Today, we're going to try to find some similarities between the AK and the Sturmgewehr. Actually, those two weapons are very, very different. Let's look inside the guns and try to find some similarities. When you look inside the guns, the main similarity is the bolt carrier, because both guns use long-stroke piston system, but there is nothing unique about it. DP-27 light machine gun developed in Soviet Union in 1927 used the same operation principle, as well as Garand M1 or BER light machine gun. And that's pretty much where all the similarities end. AK has a rotating bolt like Garand M1, and Sturmgewehr has a tilting bolt. Also, the safety selectors are very, very different. On the AK, it's just one lever, and on Sturmgewehr, it's much more similar to M16, where you would have a more ergonomic lever for the safety and then selector made as a push button. The recoil spring of Sturmgewehr is inside the stock. That's why it's very difficult to design a folding stock for this rifle. And most importantly, the whole composition of the weapon is completely different. I think it looks like something. Yeah, they do look similar, but nobody would say that Germans developed an AR-15. Obviously, Kalashnikov knew foreign weapons very well and spent a lot of time researching them. In his memoir, he mentions Garand 4 times, saying that he loved the design of the bolt that he has on the carabine and the rifle, and that he used this design as an inspiration for the bolt in his semi-automatic carabine and later in the AK. Let's look at the M1 carabine and see if it has any similarities with an AK. And yes, those two bolts really look alike, but nobody would say that Kalashnikov copied M1 Garand. And let's face it, AK is much more simple compared to M1 or M1 carabine. It's my first time disassembling it, and putting it back would be a challenge. Well, I think now it's crystal clear that AK and Sturmgewehr are very, very different. But the question is, what Hugo ŠMAJSER did in Izhevsk from October 1946 to 1952, when he was finally allowed to go home. Confidential. September 1951. Profile of Hugo ŠMAJSER. Born in 1884 in Jena, Germany. Joined the Nazi Party in 1933. Had no technical education. From 1925 to 1945, he worked in Germany as the factory director and co-owner. ŠMAJSER worked at the factory in Izhevsk from November 5
in 1946. During this time, he worked on the following projects: consulted the development of infantry small arms, developed a project of box magazine for Papa Shah, developed a project of a magazine for an 1891 rifle muzzle and gun, developed a sketch project of an assault rifle chambered for German 7.92 by 57 Mauser round. Because of lack of technical education, he was unable to do any work, did nothing useful during his stay, had a capitalist mindset, corrupted other German specialists.
Some people claim that all the documents regarding the stay of ŠMAJSER in Ижевsk are classified. It cannot be further from the truth. They've been declassified a long time ago, including his payroll documents. And there is no way he could have participated in the AK development, because when Kalashnikov first came to Ижевsk, his AK assault rifle was already developed. Kalashnikov was developing his assault rifle in Kovrov and tested it at so-called Churovsky testing ground near Moscow. ŠMAJSER was over 1,000 kilometers away and could not influence the design because he was simply not there. Okay, it's pretty evident that AK and Sturmgewehr are not very similar, and ŠMAJSER himself did not participate in the development of the AK. He was a very talented gunsmith and designer without any doubt, he just didn't want to work with Soviets. And by the time when Kalashnikov actually came to Ижевsk, ŠMAJSER was only complaining about his salary. It was not really involved in anything important. People who continue to spread around the theory of German involvement, they ignore the facts, they ignore the documents, and I don't really know how this theory is still alive, but why am I surprised? Some people still believe that the Earth is flat.